What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my prize picks breakdown for UFC 299. We got Sean O'Malley going against Marlon Vera. Amazing card this weekend. One of the best cards, I think, in a very long time on paper. And yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to breaking down this card from a prize picks perspective. Talking about my favorite prize picks plays as always. Before we do get into it, if you guys could do me a couple favors. One, leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you guys are new to prize picks and want to check it out, use promo code DFSBTN. And with that promo code, you'll get yourself a 100% deposit match up to $100. And then lastly, if you guys want extra content, be sure to check out dfsbythenumbers.com. I do betting, DraftKings, and prize picks content on there. Just got my prize picks article out for the week as well, so consider checking that out. And yeah, I say we get into it, and we're going to start with the significant strikes. And the first one we're going to talk about is going to be Marina Moroz less than 70.5 significant strikes. And yeah, I was surprised how high this was. I think it's one of the higher ones on the entire card here. And yeah, I mean, this is a fight where I can see this less hitting, multiple different ways. I think the game plan here for Moroz is pretty obvious. It would be going out there and pushing the fight against the cage, getting this fight to the mat, because Joanne Wood, she's a really good striker with a really good volume, even at this stage of her career. And on the feet, it's very competitive, if not, favoring Joanne Wood. But where Moroz does have a big advantage here, and why she is such a big favorite, is because of the grappling. Joanne Wood, really her entire career, has shown terrible submission defense. Obviously, this is a rematch. Moroz submitted her the first time in the first round. I don't think it's going to be as easy, but I could absolutely see Moroz getting this fight down to the mat, and when she does, I think a finish will open up itself at some point. So I don't think the game plan is going to be to stick at range with Joanne Calderwood and strike for 15 minutes. If that's the case, this more does hit. I just don't really see why that would be the case there. So give me Moroz taking the less on the significant strikes. I think a finish is live as well. Moving on, we'll go to Michelle Pereira, 50.5 significant strikes. And I'm going to take the more here. This is a fight that I actually think can get extended. I know the fight doesn't go to decision sitting around minus 200, but both these guys are very durable, especially Michelle Pereira. This is a guy that very rarely gets finished. When he loses, it's typically by decision. When he wins, it's typically by decision as well. And Ola Zaychuk, he's been finished a decent amount of times, but the majority of those are by submission. I think this is a fight that does stay standing. Maybe Pereira mixes in a takedown or two, but I actually think this fight does get late, if not go the full 15 minutes. And I just think 50.5 is a little bit too low in a fight that I think takes place on the feet and does get extended here. So give me Pereira more than 50.5 significant strikes. And then lastly, I'm going to take the Mateus Gamrot less than 45.5 significant strikes. Kind of like Moroz here. I mean, the game plan for Gamrot in this fight and really any fight is just going to be wrestling. This is a guy in Gamrot who's not afraid to go out there and attempt, 10, 15 to 20 takedowns if need be. And he doesn't have the best control, but I can see him going out there and taking down RDA multiple times, holding him against the cage. Like we just saw Vicente Luque do, of all people. Luque was able to hold RDA against the cage, use his size, take him down 8 times. And if Vicente Luque is taking you down 8 times, I think Gamrot will have absolutely no problem taking down RDA. I don't think this fight takes place at distance for all too long. And then you look at Gamrot and typically how many significant strikes he does have in his 3-round fights. I think in only maybe one 3-round fight, he's hit the more here. So I'm taking the less. I think the game plan is going to be to wrestle, push his fight against the cage, the majority of it. Moving on to the fight time. And there's a lot sticking out from a fight time perspective this week. So the first one that I'm going to bring up is one that has moved a little bit. It's going to be Rebellis de Spain. Fight time of 4 minutes. I'm taking the less here. I gave this one out on my full card prediction video on Monday, and looks like it has been hit because it was 4.75 minutes, but still, 4 minutes. If you add up the entire career of Despain, I think you barely get over 4 minutes. This is a guy that just finishes very early and often, and if Josh Parisian goes in there and stands at range for Despain for really any amount of time, he's probably getting knocked out, and I think he could even get knocked out in the first 60 seconds. Despain has I think it's 4 wins, and I think 3 of those wins come in like the first 30 seconds. It's ridiculous. I think his last 3 wins have combined for like 19, 20 seconds. So this guy's an absolute freak. He has a ton of power, and I think Josh Parisian's going to go out there and give him the fight that he wants. So yeah, Despain less than 4 minutes. I think he can probably finish him within the first 60 seconds, honestly. Moving on to another fight time that sticks out. It's going to be Curtis Blades 9.75 minutes fight time. This one has moved a little bit, just a tad. It was 10 minutes. I'm taking the less here. I mean, Jailton Almeida went 25 minutes with Derek Lewis. And if that didn't happen, we would not be getting a 9.75 here. Simple as that. I think there's some recency bias baked into the line. I think Curtis Blaydes is more than capable of knocking out Jailton Almeida on the feet, and vice versa. I think if Jailton Almeida gets the fight down to the mat, I think he can absolutely submit or TKO Curtis Blaydes on the ground. I think there's a big difference in terms of BJJ in favor of Almeida. So yeah, I think wherever this fight goes, somebody's going to be dangerous. Jailton Almeida has only hit this more twice in his entire career, and people forget this is a guy in Jailton who has all of his wins coming before the third round. Only one of his wins have went over the 1.5 round mark. So I think there's some recency bias here. I think this should be set, closer to 6.5 to 7.5 minutes here. I'm taking the less than 9.75. Moving on, we have one that moved as well. We got Jack Della Maddalena, 10.5 minutes fight time. I'm taking the less here. So it was 12.5. I'm actually not even going to give this at this point. This moved a little bit too much. So I'm going to talk about a different one here. It's going to be Michelle Pereira, 10 minutes fight time. I'm taking the more here. Like I said, two very durable guys. Mikhail Olazechuk's a guy that has been subbed a lot, but in terms of durability, he's very durable. I don't really see either guy getting knocked out. I think this fight actually goes 15 minutes, believe it or not. The odds don't really indicate that, but both guys, like I said, they can absolutely take a shot. Michelle Pereira, I don't even think I've ever seen this guy hurt. I'd be kind of surprised if Mikhail Olazechuk knocked him out, and then vice versa. Michelle Pereira is not a finisher at the UFC level outside of knocking out like a Danny Roberts or I think it's just Danny Roberts, maybe one other finish that was in the third round as well. But yeah, not really much of a finisher. He even took Andre Fiallo to decision. So yeah, give me the more here on fight time for Michelle Pereira. And then I will also, I think that's about it for fight time. I was going to talk about the Jack Della fight time, but it moved. I think that one moved the most I've seen on this card. So if you guys got onto that 12.5, shout out to you because that did move big time. All right, we'll move on to the takedowns, and we're going to talk about Kyler Phillips, takedown set at 2. I'm taking the less here. He's going against Pedro Munoz, and I think only one fighter ever has gotten more than 2 takedowns on Pedro Munoz, and it was a fight that was a very long time ago. Off the top of my head, I forget who it even was against, but yeah, I think it's only happened once. And the game plan for Kyler Phillips is probably not going to be to wrestle. I think he's the much better striker, much better volume. And if you do wrestle Pedro Munoz, you got to worry about that guillotine he has. So I kind of feel like the path to victory for Kyler Phillips is to not grapple. I think it's going to be stay on the outside, use his movement, use his speed, and point fight his way to decision. So I like the less on takedowns. Maybe he gets a takedown, maybe, but I just really don't see the need for him to go out there and wrestle. Trying to look at any more of these if any stick out. I don't like the Gamrot set at 4. Like he could get more. That 4 is a lot, man. So I'm gonna stick with that one, the Kyler Phillips one, and that's it. All right, moving on to the fantasy score, and I'm going to give Kevin Holland fantasy score here, 82.5. I'm going to take the less. I don't think Holland's going to wrestle here. I don't think he's going to fight smart. I think he's going to give Michael Page the exact fight he wants, and at that case, I think it's a close fight. I also feel like this fight could be a lot lower volume as well. I think this fight does go to decision, so I think there's a lot of ways for this less to hit, and I'm not even convinced Kevin Holland wins. I think it's going to be like a split decision type fight where both guys have their moments on the feet, could really go either way, so I'm taking the less for Kevin Holland, 82.5, in a fight that I do think goes the distance. And then other than that, I think that's about it. Yeah, maybe the Kyler Phillips less, 89.5. I don't hate that less. I don't see him wrestling. I absolutely don't see him finishing as well. Probably goes to decision. Yeah, give me the less there on Kyler Phillips, 89.5. I'll throw that one out there as well. But that is probably about it for me. So, yeah, guys, there you guys have it. Let me know in the comments what you guys have, if I missed anything. Couple spots sticking out for sure. These Lines have kind of moved a lot throughout the week, though, a couple of them. So best of luck, everybody. Leave a like on your way out. Subscribe here to the channel. And then also, if you guys want to check out the promo code DFSBTN, you'll get yourself a 100% deposit match up to $100. And then also consider joining DFSbythenumbers.com. And pretty much all content's posted on there for the week. Just have a couple more things to get out. But yeah, guys, best of luck and enjoy the fight. See you later.